The Oklahoma City Thunder just made a massive roster move that is sending shockwaves across the entire basketball world. They traded away perimeter defender Lu Dort in a desperate attempt to avoid the second luxury tax apron. This shocking cost-cutting trade proves exactly how much the new collective bargaining agreement rules are altering the league landscape. Front offices are genuinely terrified of the massive financial penalties and team-building restrictions. Right now, there is not a single team in the entire association operating above the second tax apron threshold. Every single championship contender has blinked in the face of these severe structural punishments. This league-wide panic provides the perfect context for Boston Celtics fans to look back and truly appreciate the sheer brilliance of Brad Stevens. His strategy stands out as a masterclass in executive fearlessness. While other front offices are actively tearing down their rosters out of sheer financial terror, Stevens did the exact opposite. He willingly chose to step right over that dangerous line to secure a historic championship run. He recognized that the organization possessed a very specific, 2-year competitive window. He knew the roster would eventually have to be broken up due to the mounting expenses, but he refused to let that compromise the present. That bold calculation paid off in the ultimate way possible. The Celtics assembled a truly dominant juggernaut that completely obliterated the competition throughout the regular season and cruised through the postseason. They brought home Banner 18 because their executive was willing to take a massive financial gamble. If Stevens had operated with the same hesitation we are seeing from Oklahoma City today, history would look very different. The same magical run did not repeat itself the following season, but that does not diminish the initial triumph. Building a championship roster always requires taking immense risks that can backfire in spectacular ways. Now the bill has finally come due for the organization. The fund officially had a strict time limit, and the front office had to execute a massive roster clearing process to stabilize their long-term future. The departures of key championship pieces like Kristaps Porzingis and Drew Holiday were entirely inevitable. The financial crunch was so incredibly severe that the team could not even afford to retain beloved veterans. Fans had to watch helplessly as legendary figures like Al Horford and Luke Cornett walked out the door. It was a deeply painful process that highlighted the brutal reality of managing an elite basketball team today. But what Stevens accomplished during this forced reset is nothing short of an absolute miracle. He managed to successfully guide the franchise completely under both tax aprons during this stressful transition period. Even more impressive is the fact that he got the team completely out of the luxury tax altogether. He erased a massive financial burden while somehow managing to preserve all of their future first-round draft selections. Executing a total salary dump of that monumental scale without giving away draft equity is unheard of in this league. It requires elite leverage and a deep understanding of opposing front office motivations. The universal terror surrounding the second tax apron has created fascinating inefficiencies in the open market. Contenders are so desperate to shed salary that they are practically giving away high-quality players. This exact panic is ironically what allowed Boston to acquire defensive center Mitchell Robinson this summer. The New York Knicks were desperate to avoid the exact same tax fallout that Boston just finished managing. New York knew that a massive financial storm was already heading straight for them. The mammoth contract extension for superstar Karl Anthony Towns will soon kick in and completely restrict their options moving forward. By taking advantage of their hesitation, Stevens added a premier interior force to the front court. If you want to keep receiving these deep tactical updates, please take a quick moment to like the video and subscribe. The contrast between how Boston managed their championship window and how Oklahoma City is handling their current situation is stark. The Thunder have accumulated an absolute mountain of future draft assets over the years. They possess all the draft picks necessary to sustain a competitive roster for a decade. Yet the sheer anxiety of entering the second tax apron forced them to trade a core defensive identity piece like Lu Dort. Dort has been the absolute heart and soul of their perimeter defense for multiple seasons. He willingly took on the toughest defensive assignments every single night and sacrificed his body for the team. Trading away a player of that character shows that no one is safe under the new collective bargaining agreement rules. Teams are actively choosing to get worse in the short term, just to protect their future balance sheet. This makes the recent achievements of the Celtics look even more spectacular in retrospect. Stevens looked at the exact same restrictive rules and decided that a single guaranteed championship was worth the subsequent pain. He gave the city of Boston a legendary parade and a memory that will last forever. Roster building in the modern era requires an incredible amount of emotional detachment and pure mathematical calculation. The management team understood the risks of their aggressive approach from the absolute beginning. They knew they were building a temporary masterpiece that would eventually have to be dismantled piece by piece. But the primary goal of professional sports will always be to win championships. Stevens never lost sight of that objective, even when the media criticized the long-term sustainability of his expensive roster. Other organizations are now trying their absolute best to mimic the success of the Celtics without taking on any of the corresponding financial risks. They want the glory of a title without the pain of a tax bill. Oklahoma City is discovering that path is incredibly difficult to navigate in practice. You cannot easily replace the perimeter intensity and physical presence that a veteran like Dort brought to the hardwood. Their young core will now have to absorb an even greater defensive burden moving forward. This trade sets up a highly fascinating hypothetical scenario for the upcoming competitive season in the Western Conference. If the Thunder fall short in the postseason due to a lack of perimeter defense, this trade will be heavily scrutinized. Critics will rightfully point out that saving money cost them a legitimate shot at a title. Meanwhile, Boston enters the new campaign with a completely refreshed and financially stable outlook. Stevens successfully completed the necessary roster purge while keeping the core competitive spirit alive. The addition of Mitchell Robinson provides a different type of interior dynamic for head coach Joe Mazzulla to deploy. The front court now features an elite rim protector who can absorb heavy regular season minutes. This allows the coaching staff to keep their other key big men completely fresh for another deep playoff run. The cyclical nature of the league guarantees that teams will always move in distinct waves. Boston capitalized beautifully at the absolute peak of their cycle, and then managed the descent with total precision. That is the true hallmark of a world-class sports executive operating at the highest level. Celtics fans should stand tall and appreciate the incredible landscape their team has navigated so successfully. While rival franchises are panicking over tax lines, Boston is sitting comfortably on a title foundation. The journey toward pure basketball excellence is never smooth or predictable. It requires bold leaders who are entirely willing to throw caution to the wind when the ultimate prize is within their actual grasp. Brad Stevens proved beyond any shadow of a doubt that he possesses that rare championship medal. His willingness to enter the second tax apron is the exact reason why Banner 18 hangs proudly in the rafters today. As the rest of the league continues to scramble to fix their finances, the brilliance of his strategy becomes clearer every day. The master plan worked perfectly, and the rewards will be cherished for entire lifetimes.